Which way?
A little bit more. I think it's like almost direct.
If anything, you want to shift it?
Shift it that way. Yeah, we getting better. Now you want to pull it out a little bit so you can see everything. Yep. I think that's good.
All right. I actually need a mic.
Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Check. All right, man. Welcome to a quick edition of the Famous Now Show. I have my guy right here, Myron. Just met him earlier today, and I could not let an opportunity pass by without getting this man on camera and speaking with him about some of the things that he's doing, especially around the DLW area. Myron, man, thank you for short notice. I literally just talked to you how many minutes ago about this.
Shoot, probably like what, 5 minutes?
Hey man, we working. Myron, man, thank you for coming on to the Famous Now Show. Man, I'm blown away about some of the things that you're doing. You're in video production, marketing ability. You're doing some big things. You said some big names, and you said some things that you're doing. Let's start at the top. Let's start at the top. Before you got into digital media, how did you pick that up? What was your inspiration for that?
So I mainly started watching like a couple behind the scenes of like some movies and stuff, and I saw the process of these films being made, and I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And so I started getting into it in high school. Met a teacher by the name of Miss Connie Bennett. Shout out.
Shout
And
out.
so she basically set everything up to where I was able to succeed. Got me on my first feature film right out of high school, or in high school, transitioning out for graduation, all that. And so blew up from there. Just started doing commercial work, stuff like that. And I've gotten to work with some pretty big companies and put some pretty good stuff out there for like Ford, CBS, NBC, big networks and stuff. And
Yeah.
You've probably seen some of the stuff out there. So
Yeah, man. This guy right here is behind the inspirations to a lot of great things. We were just discussing, uh, even working with Shaquille O'Neal, man. Shaq. Who wouldn't want to work with Shaq? How did that come about? How was that process? How was that process?
it was mainly just like word of mouth because you make friends in the industry. The best advice I have for people who want to start in film is start low as a production assistant, work your way around the different departments, and then that's how you get bumped up. And then it really was just one guy who's like, hey, you want to work on this shoot? And I'm like, sure. I didn't know what it was. And I'm like, bro, why did you tell me? He's like, because I wanted to keep it low. I'm like, all right. And so it just happened just like that, really.
Man, man, it's crazy, man. Like your life can change in an instant, right? Like opportunity is awaiting us every single day. Um, you talked about even beginning so early on. You starting in high school, and you still carrying it on. And to me, I know you look like a very young man. So I know I know high school wasn't too long ago, but now standing where you are in the things that you've done. How many feature films have you worked on?
A lot.
A lot of them,
A lot,
guys.
yeah.
A lot
I
of
don't have a
feature
number.
films, a lot of commercials. Man, just the hard work, the amount of effort you put into that. Would you say that your high school self is proud of you? Or would you even say that the beginner of you is like just he's proud of that, the build. How was the build? Everyone talks about the now, but would you say from the moment you began to now, the build was a beautiful process?
Yeah, I think the high school me probably wouldn't even listen to the me now because I gave my life to Christ in 2017.
Yeah.
And so my focus has really shifted to, I used to chase after Hollywood and stuff like that. And I like to, obviously, I'm going to name drop because that's, it's my accolades. I'm proud of what I did.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I don't really look for that. What I look for is how can I help the next company, the next smaller business, the next person who's just trying to get into this business, for whatever reason. I just want to be able to help and give back. But the build, yeah, is definitely a lot of this, especially in this kind of business, because one minute it's popping, the next it's not.
Yeah.
Especially whenever COVID hit, things kind of settled down, but at the same time, they're like, hey, we need video. And guess what?
You was out there ready.
I was out. I was like, let's get it.
Wow, man. So you was on the front lines even during COVID.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially working at. I used to work at Rush Creek Church doing their video stuff there.
Oh, nice.
And we had to constantly go back and forth. President Trump at the time would put out a statement, and then we'd have to go and film that.
Oh, wow.
Or like an update.
Yeah.
The pastor would do an update, and then he would come out with another statement, probably within like 30 minutes. He's like, hey, we got to film again. It's like, oh my gosh. So yeah, we were out there like trying to stay updated, trying to, the latest protocols, stuff like that, and capture all that on film. And even having to film some services,
Yeah.
sometimes, they wouldn't get recorded properly. And it was like a whole, yeah. So we had to adjust.
Yeah.
So.
No, man, that's amazing. That's major. Because man, one of the best things that I heard you say in this portion of the interview was, man, I turned my life over to Christ. It's major, bro. It's nothing like it. God is the greatest. So, man, to even sit here next to this young guy and hear his energy, feel his energy, vibe with him, and I'm proud to say I just met you, man. I feel like we're friends and we don't even, we haven't met each other that long. But I'm gracious to have you here, man. And, man, so what would you say now is your filmmaking process? What would you say it's like?
It depends. It's usually the same, like from start to finish. I like to start with the concept. What is the idea, and then talk to whoever it is that's producing it. If me and whoever else are collaborating, then we'll talk about like the details of what we want to capture, and then I'll go into like building a storyboard and kind of getting mental images in my head because that's how I see things. Like I see it in a movie format. So I'll basically put it, like write it down like shot 1, shot 2, and then get it approved, and then that's whenever we start casting, looking for locations and stuff like that, and then just kind of piece it together.
What would you say is probably the toughest portion of it?
Probably locations and probably finding the right people to push your product or make your, or act out your script or whatever the case may be. I think those two probably, locations and finding the right people, especially if it's like a very cheap budget and you can't really pay people.
Yeah.
It's you want to be respectful of their time and try to offer something, but if you can't, offer them money, it's like, hey, we can get you great visuals, so you're gonna look good on camera.
Yeah.
So,
hey, something is over, right?
Yeah.
Man, that's pretty amazing, man. What would you say right now is your favorite film? I know it's tough, but what would you say is your favorite works?
My favorite movie, still to this day, my favorite movie is Bad Boys 2.
It's the best movie. It's really it's one of the ones like, Miami, bro. Like, oh man, Dan Marino was on there.
I like it because there's comedy, there's action, and it's like it's not all over the place. It's like it flows perfect. You know what I mean? And so
would you say that's a great script that they wrote up?
I think so, yeah, because it's smart in the way they produced it. It's smart in the way they wrote it, and just the chemistry between Will and Martin is like, it's there. Like, they were meant to play that.
Yeah. Like it's a step up. It's a huge step up from the first one. The first one was a classic.
Oh yeah.
But then they come back. Normally the sequel may not always be, the greatest, but I'm with you, man. I would say that's probably the best Bad Boys right there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love Bad Boys 3, but
I like Bad Boys 3. I thought it was a good like cherry on top. Just didn't agree with the whole "he's my son."
Yeah,
it's like that's played off. But at the same time, it's Mike Lowry, so he get around.
He did. He
get around with the wrong one.
Yeah, and she was, man. That was a crazy film. The fist fight at the end and all that, like just to find out that's his son. But
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, man. Man, that's pretty cool, man. Normally we play a game on the show, but I only have enough time to give you a couple questions pertaining to this game. It's a game called This or That. Have you ever heard of this game before?
I think so.
I'm pretty
I
sure
think
you
so.
have. You know, when you woke up this morning, you said, "I need breakfast."
Hmm.
You decided you were gonna eat this or that, right? So I'm sure we play this game every single day in life. We don't know that we're playing this game, but we do. Um, Before we get into the deeper one, because it's one that I love to ask, I always like to ask, and then we'll follow up with a personal favorite question of mine as well, and we'll end it very nicely. Let's go with this one. Would you rather take a nice vacation outside of the country, or would you rather very homey feel like maybe stay vacation in the area and get to roam around the cities that you probably don't get to go often
Yeah, no, definitely. I think going out of the country
out of the country?
because I went once to Costa Rica and I
Nice.
loved it. So I can only imagine like just getting to experience, other cultures and just other, especially the food.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Oh wow. Did you film anything over there while you were there?
Nah, at the
No.
time I wasn't really like too deep into it. I was more just kind of like dabbling around, and that was more. That was actually we actually went to Costa Rica. My sister paid for it.
Oh wow.
Shout out Serena, because
Nice.
I graduated film school in
Nice. Nice.
2015 and graduated high school in 2012. So
Nice.
29. I just turned 29 yesterday. So
Happy
yeah.
belated birthday, man. God's
So
timing, bro.
yeah.
God's timing, man. Happy belated birthday, man.
So
Yeah.
definitely travel.
Travel. Okay. Um, would you rather try a variety of foods that's like basically cultural based foods, or would you rather a good American classic hamburger?
I'll probably go with the classic.
Go with the classic.
I like trying new foods, but I've seen some cultures and what they have. Like, I'm not too into like eating certain animal parts. I'm like, yeah, I know it's a delicacy, but I'm not that delicate.
Not yet, right? It's like, nah, I'm not
Yeah.
I'm good on that. I got you. I got you. I ain't mad at that. It's cool. All right. It's a question. In the film industry, would you say if you were picking your all time top five films or film makers or actors to create a new film? So first, this is a two portion question. What's gonna happen is you're gonna answer your top five, and then you're going to on the spot tell me a film you can create with those five.
All right, probably Roger Deakins to be the cinematographer.
Mm,
Um, Maybe Alfonso Cuarón to be the director. I would get. I would have to throw Will Smith in somewhere. I just love his
mm,
performances. Like you can say what you want about the Oscars, he's still a great actor.
yeah.
You know. Um, who else? Him. I'd probably want to do something with Chris Hemsworth.
Okay.
Yeah, he seems like a really cool dude. Thor and everything.
Yeah.
Um, and who else? There's some great names out there. Probably Domhnall Gleeson. He's a great. I believe he's English. I believe
Okay.
so. He's a redhead. He might be Irish. Not too sure. And I would like to do something. How many is that? Three, four?
I think we're at four. Let's
All
say
right.
four. If it's over five, we'll give you more.
Probably Daniel Radcliffe from Harry Potter. Everybody knows him there, but he's
Yep.
such a great actor. Like outside of obviously that.
A lot of range.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I would say if I could bring him back from the dead, Alan Rickman, who played Professor Snape,
Wow.
man, so that would probably seal it right there. I don't know what I would do.
Oh man.
I'd probably sit down with them and be like, hey, y'all are amazing. What do y'all want to do?
Like let's have a brainstorm meeting
Mhm.
and just write it all out, write the script on the spot. Wow, man. Man, let's see. So would that be a very serious comedy, maybe? Like, I mean, it's comedic. How you guys doing? It's very comedic and also serious.
Yeah.
It's,
It might be. Yeah, it might have a little bit of everything. You got Will Smith, Chris Hemsworth's pretty good at comedy.
yeah,
I know all of them are capable of that level.
yeah,
Especially someone like Alan Rickman. R.I.P. Like he could he could flip it on any character.
yeah.
He was able to adjust and just go right at it.
That's
So.
pretty amazing, man. All right. All right, man. This is one of those questions that I love to ask, man. It's pertaining to legacy. Of course, we strongly believe in legacy. We believe in servicing the overlooked and the underserved as much as possible. But when it comes to legacy, our legacies are our personal legacies, right? It's a goal, a specific set of standards that we go by, provide ourselves and our families. When it comes to legacy, would you rather be cherished forever or respected forever?
I would rather say respected, because I wouldn't want anybody to cherish me above Christ. I
Mm,
would want them to at least respect me for my beliefs and respect that I stood firmly on the word.
yeah,
You know what I mean? The old me, yeah, definitely would like cherish me, this and that. I want all
yeah,
the glory. But now, nah, I much more value respect because I know I can go back to that person if I ever needed help and I can say, hey, let's do something.
yeah.
Or I need your help in this. Respect to me goes a long way. More over money, anything.
Man, that's beautiful, man. It's a great answer. The way you break it down, and again, man, you put Christ in, you put God above all things, and always gonna be respected of that because He deserves all the glory, right? So, in this portion of the interview, I always like to leave on a huge insight. As I met you today, we talked about some of the things that you're doing, the creations, the films, the relationships you're building, the different directions that God has taken your life. All within that time, you discussed the old you. You discussed going to college, finishing film school, and being here right now. The crazy thing is, my guy, there's somebody watching on the other end of this. They're gonna either watch it today, maybe tomorrow, maybe 6 months from now, 2 years from now. And it's important that the next filmmaker, the next Myron hears what what advice would you give that person that's going to find their way in this industry, just like you did.
I think um, the thing I would say would be if you're going to do film, do it because you love it, not because you think you're going to be rich and famous. Because if that's your mindset, it's never going to happen because you're not.
Yeah,
you know, the Chris Hemsworths and Will Smiths, the people I name drop, it's like those are the few who who had a blessing given to them. I don't like to say lucky break. I like to say they were blessed with that. But God, he may or may not bless you with certain things. But if you're chasing after the world, you may achieve the world. But I always say, whatever it is you do, do it because you love it and because you're passionate about it, because that's going to give you the biggest reward. Because you're not going to be chasing after the money and this and that. Whenever the money runs out, you're going to be able to be happy because you still have that passion. You're still going to make films even if you're broke.
yeah,
You know, even if you got to sell all your cameras, you're still going to probably have a little one that you'll be able to,
mm,
you know what I mean? So do it because you're passionate and just network like crazy. That's going to be your biggest thing. Because I'm not against Hollywood and none of that. Just network like crazy. If you want to get on that level, do it. It's not impossible. It's just going to take a lot of work,
yeah,
a lot of sacrifice, and a lot of not listening to people telling you no, that you should think of something else because the truth is they're telling you no while they go and sit on the couch and when they're watching Netflix and they're watching someone else's work who was told no however many times, but they're telling you no. It's like, well, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So don't listen to the negativity. Listen to the constructive criticism and what people are gonna I tell you, because early on, your films aren't going to be great. They're going to suck. They're going to look bad. They're going to sound terrible, but that's okay. As long as you figure out, okay, what do I need to do to make this better? What microphones, what lenses, what lighting equipment, how can I make all this better? And learn from those who are much more wiser than you.
Yeah.
Not necessarily older, because I've met some old people,
Yeah.
they ain't got it like that. But just anybody who has been in the dirt and is willing to, brush off, some of that dirt and like, here, have this.
Yeah.
So that'd be.
Man, that's just real. It's been another great episode of the Phamous Now Show. Man, I'm super happy to have met this dude, man. I feel God's grace being all over this interview, and I can't wait to see you sitting at the top, wherever God takes you, man. Young man, rumble, 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 man. Keep going, and guys, if you're tuning in, just know God has a plan for you. He has a plan and a purpose for you, a plan to see you prosper.
I'll say one more.
Yes, sir. Go forward.
If your name is written in the book of life, you're already at the top. Give your life to Christ.
That's it. That's beautiful, man. We signing out on it. Hey, man, believe in God, cause He got you. He got you all the way. And hey, very happy to be here and continue to use our platform for very, very great content and pushing out that positivity. And it's been another great episode of the Phamous Now Show. Tap in. Sorry, man. Dude, on the whim, a great show, dog.